Awesome. I have to say, got it. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Janet Forrest. I'm one of the adult program coordinators at the library. And I'm going to be hosting tonight's Yummy Monday, and we're going to do all things cranberries. So I'm going to do a dinner, which you can hear sizzling in the background. And then I'm also going to do a twist on just your classic cranberry sauce made from scratch. And then also a couple of cocktails and a dessert. So I'm a little ambitious, but I think we can do it all. And I have recipes, so just sit back, enjoy. I'm going to send you all the recipes, so don't feel like you have to write everything down. And Amy will chime in. If you have questions, there's not that many people, so you can unmute yourself and just ask. Or you can put it in the chat and Amy will catch my attention. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so the first recipe is going to be chicken thighs in cranberry. And it comes from this book. I'm going to return it from the library. It's worth checking out. It's the Cranberry Connection. It's from Nova Scotia, and all what's cool about it is all the recipes are actually handwritten. So it's a great book. You can buy it online if you want it, or you can check it out at the library. So that's what this recipe comes from. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. And the original recipe is pork chops with cranberry. I just didn't feel like pork chops, so we're going to do it with chicken thighs. So what I'm doing first, as you can hear behind me, is I'm just browning the chicken thighs. So let me do that. You could do it with bone in. I'm doing it boneless. I prefer bone in, but it wasn't available. We live on an island, so here we are. So I'm just going to put those. Yeah, in another minute. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to give you another minute. And so those, what I've done is I've preheated the oven to 375. So the chicken, once it's browned, it's going to go in a shallow baking dish. There you go. And we're going to make a cranberry sauce to go on top of it. So I might actually start on that. So let's see. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add, all this goes into a saucepan. So it's 3 tablespoons of sugar. And I will say cranberries are sour, so a lot of the recipes call for sugar. You could probably use honey instead, or just a little less sugar. It probably wouldn't change the recipe so much. In this case, some of the other ones you need it for the consistency. Okay, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. A 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves. Okay. Spices. And then we're going to do a 1/2 cup of, half cup of port wine. I just bought the cheap stuff, but you could use a nicer port if you want to. So I will say this cookbook's a little, it's several people contributed to it. So some of the directions are a little vague. So this says heat, let's see, what does it say? Heat until sugar dissolves. So I don't know that you have to bring it to a boil. Let me get this out of the way.
Oh, got restarted. Oh,
Yeah, we can just have
my
it's just-
column. You know, run the train.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I guess I could use it. So I got my chicken there. Take it down. Oops. Hold on. I know, Della. I know. All right. There we go. I know. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is turning like a nice burgundy color. And so this, we'll start with that, and then we're going to eventually add cranberry sauce, which I have. For anyone who joined late, my dog Dow is going to chime in when it starts to smoke, so she's fine. She's not being beaten. Okay. Now this is cranberry sauce I made the other day, and I'm going to go over this is a basic recipe. I'm going to go over my version, but I'll explain how to make this. It's super, super simple if you haven't done it before. Looks like it's just starting to heat up. It smells like mulled wine. That works. Longer. And what we're going to add to it, and let that go a little bit longer, is let's see, 1 cup of cranberry sauce. So, let's see if we can do this. Yep. Should work. There we go. That's about right. Down a little bit. Now my cranberry sauce. One. Two. Okay. So I'm gonna let this stir. It says heat. Once again, it's a little vague, so add sauce and heat. So I'm just gonna let this dissolve a little bit. Ooh, that's nice color. Here, I'll hold it up and see. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a nice, like deep, deep red color. That a bit longer. And like I said, this original recipe called for pork chops, so you could do it with pork chops. I just was in the mood for chicken. And in the original recipe, it said 8 pork chops. And just, I'm kind of a sauce person, so I don't mind going a little heavy on the sauce. So I only have, it's like 5 chicken thighs, but that's okay. I can make some mashed potato or something to go with this. Let that set. And I'm gonna get, and once it is time to go in the oven, we're gonna cover it with foil. So I'm gonna get that out so it's ready. There we go. Now it's bubbling. There we go. The other thing I like about this cookbook is they have a lot of fun facts about cranberries and a lot of stories. Let's see. There was something about, what was it? Oh, here we go. The first cranberry cultivation in Canada was by, let's see, William McNeill of Melbourne Square in Annapolis County of Nova Scotia. So there's all these kind of like little fun facts written in here. It's just, it must be from the 70s because there's tons of gelatin involved in the recipes. So a lot of fruit salads with gelatin. Okay, so that's boiling. Put this out. All right. So this is gonna get just poured over. Ooh, it's nice and thick. The chicken. There. And I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to cook it for, because it's not bone in, I'm going to cook it for about 30 minutes and then see where we're at. I did brown the chicken, but it's not, it's definitely not cooked. So I'm going to put this in. This is at 375. Set the timer for 30 minutes. There we go. Oops, there we go. Okay, so that's the chicken thighs in cranberry. Once again, I'm going to send you all these recipes, so don't worry about writing everything down. Okay, the next one I'm actually even more excited about. I wish I had a sauce. Oh, I did. Okay. So this was something I found a while ago and kind of, I never found the original recipe that gave me the idea, but it's sort of like a Southwestern cranberry sauce. So it has, it's going to have jalapeno and lime, lemon, and orange juice, and also some tequila if you want. And like I said, so this is going to be, it's made the same way as the basic recipe. I've just added different things to it. So let me get this out of the way. Okay, so what I have here is, it's 1 bag of cranberries, so it's 12 ounces. So I just wash that, strain that. Some there. And then we add, it's 1 cup of sugar. Saved my. Now this I'm calling my spicy spiked cranberry sauce. Okay. So it's 1 cup of sugar. In some recipes, I feel like you could, like the cranberry juice, you could probably go a little light in the sugar. In this case, I wouldn't, because I think it adds to the, you need it for the consistency. So I'm gonna use a full cup of sugar. And I'm also gonna use, and you can do any variation of this, but what this is 1/3 cup lime juice, 1/3 cup lemon juice, and 1/3 cup orange juice. But you could use grapefruit juice, you could add pineapple juice, but you just want 1 cup of any mix of that. So I'm gonna add right that in there. And I'm gonna add 2 ounces of tequila, and that should really cook off. So it won't be very boozy. What do I do with my shot glass? There it is. Yeah, so it shouldn't be boozy. It should kind of cook off, but it'll have that kind of flavor to it. So I'm gonna add about 2 ounces of this. There. There. Okay, and then I'm gonna add, this is a whole jalapeno that I'm adding. I like it a little spicy, but I took the seeds out. So if you don't notice, the seeds are actually where you get a lot of the heat in peppers. So I seeded it, I minced it, but I put like maybe 6 or 7 seeds back in. If you want to do half a jalapeno, if you really love it spicy, you want to do like a really like small spicy pepper, like they'll really set your eyebrows on fire, you can do that. But this is 1 jalapeno minced with just a few seeds left over. So that's gonna go in there. Okay, I'm just gonna wash my hands so I don't. And something I learned actually from a chef is the reason that pepper, that spice sticks with you is the spice and peppers is actually oil-based. So it's harder to get rid of. Whereas if you ever had sushi and just took a huge bite of wasabi, it's like, and then it's just gone. And that's because horseradish and wasabi are actually water-based. So as soon as you take a swallow of water, it just washes away. So that's why I'm washing my hand real good. Just trying to get that jalapeno oil on my face. Okay, so that's, and then just, let's see, half teaspoon of, it's supposed to be kosher salt. I'm just gonna use regular salt. Let's see. Okay, perfect. And so I'm just gonna give this a good stir. It doesn't matter how you add things, just put it all in the pot and stir it. And then I'm gonna put this on high heat and let that boil. And what's gonna happen, let's see. So what's gonna happen is that's gonna boil, and as it heats up, you're gonna start to hear pop, 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 pop. The cranberries are gonna start popping. So that'll just take a minute. And while it does that, I was just gonna explain the basic recipe for cranberry sauce. Let's see, where'd it go? Here it is. So for a basic cranberry sauce, which is actually what I used on the chicken, is 12, so the bag of cranberries, 12 ounces of cranberries, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup water. So instead of the citrus juice, you're just gonna do water. And then 2 1/4 teaspoons of finely grated orange zest. But you could do whatever. I mean, you could do grapefruit, you could do lime, lemon, whatever you're feeling. And then a half teaspoon of kosher salt. And you're gonna make it exactly the same way. So basically it's this without the tequila and without the citrus juice. And that's how I got that one on epicurious.com, so I'll send that to you. And this is gonna take a minute. So actually I'm gonna cover it. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, so I'm gonna do some cocktails, and you could just buy cranberry juice and you could just buy cranberry sauce. There's no shame in that. But for this presentation, I wanted to show you how you can use fresh cranberries, because we actually have access to local organic fresh cranberries. So I'm gonna show you cranberry juice and cranberry syrup, which you're gonna use in the cocktails. So, oops, there we go. So this is the cranberry juice I made, and it's delicious. It really is really yummy. And the way I made that, and I think this is also in this book. This one, I found it. It's 4 cups of cranberries, 4 cups of water, and 2/3 a cup of sugar. And I think this is a case where you could do a 1/4 cup of sugar or a little less if you want, or use honey, because I don't think you need it for the consistency of the final recipe. It's just adding, cranberry juice is just so tart, so you just want a little sweetness in there. And for the juice, you're gonna cook the berries until they burst. So add the water and the cranberries and just boil them. And I wanted to get as much juice as possible. So I actually took a potato masher and just kind of like mashed it once it was really boiling. So that takes about 10 minutes. And then once that's done, you're gonna strain the juice into a bowl. And then you can discard the leftover cranberries. I saved them. I can put them in a smoothie or something because there's no sugar added yet. And then you take the strained juice and pour it back in the pot, and you're going to bring that to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to add however much sugar you want and boil it for 2 minutes and let it cool. And then you can put it, I put mine in a mason jar and you can chill it. And it should last a while. It didn't say how long you could store it, but it should last a while. And then the cranberry syrup, which is just like a little, it's basically a simple syrup. And I tried it the other day, it was yummy. So the cranberry syrup should be like a bit like thicker. So it's still liquid. I don't know if I'm close enough, but it's just like a little thicker than the juice. So, and sweet. So for the syrup, it was 2 cups cranberry, which is about like 1 bag, 1 1/4 cups water, 1 1/4 cups sugar. And then to make it, you'll put it in a saucepan on high heat, just the sugar and the water first. You put that in, you're making your simple syrup, and you'll bring it to a boil and stir it until the sugar completely dissolves. It turns into like, not quite clear. It has like a little like effervescence to it. And then at that point, you're going to add the cranberries and simmer for 10 minutes. And once again, you're going to hear pop, 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 and they'll all pop and they'll get really soft. And once again, I took out the potato masher because I just wanted to get as much juice out as possible. And in that case, you're going to just let it cool to room temperature. So you're going to leave the cranberries, everything in there, let it cool in the pot. And once it's cooled, you're going to take out a fine mesh strainer or cheesecloth if you want, but you'll kind of use it once and have to throw it out. So I use the strainer and pour it over a bowl, and you're going to strain it out. And I let it sit for a while to really just get all of it out. And then I just put it in a jar and put it in the fridge. So this, they said it will last for 3 weeks. I think with all the sugar and everything, it would probably last longer, but you're just going to want to make sure you refrigerate it. So this we're going to use for a cocktail in a little bit. So I'm going to put these back in the fridge for a minute. Okay. So let's see how we're doing back here with our cranberry sauce. Oh yeah. All right, so this is coming to a boil. And I can smell the tequila and I can smell the jalapenos. So that's good. And I'm starting to see if I can bring this over to you. It might be hard to see, but the cranberries will start to kind of crack in half. And they're kind of white inside, so it must be the skin that really gives them that red color. So I'm just gonna let this boil. And if you are someone who likes cranberry sauce, like cranberry jelly, you could probably strain this off. Like once it's really boiled down, you could strain it off and create a jelly. I kind of like the texture, so I like to let it go. So this is just about boiling, and once it does, I'm gonna turn it down and simmer for another minute. The reason cranberry sauce is so easy to make is cranberries actually have their own pectin in them. So if you make grape jelly, use other fruits, lots of times you have to add pectin or gelatin to give it that like texture. Whereas cranberries, oops, here it goes. Cranberries already have that naturally, so it naturally turns into a jelly. You don't have to add anything else. Here it goes. So sadly, I have an electric stove, so it's harder to manage the heat the way you can with gas. So I'm gonna turn that heat off for a second and then I'll turn it back to simmer. But I can hear them popping. Pop, 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 pop. So now I think you can kind of see it. It's sort of like foam. I don't want to spill it all over the table, but it's sort of foamy. But what will happen is that foam will kind of go away and it turns like a deep, deep red, ruby red. And it'll still be in liquid form while it's hot. It'll start to get thicker, but it'll be still in liquid form. And then as it cools, it gets that harder texture. So I'm gonna that. So we're at 18. I'll let that simmer. Here we go. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Am I speaking too quickly? I do that sometimes. No? Okay, I'll keep going. So we did our sauce. I'll check back in with that in a minute. The chicken thighs are in the oven. They're doing fine. So let's move on to cocktails. Where did they go? Okay, great. So the cocktails came, both of them came from, actually, no, that's not true. There were two I found from this book, and it has a sister book. So this is Tequila Mockingbird, and it's all cocktails based on literary books. Well, all books are literary, but classic novels. And then this actually has a second edition called Are You There, God? It's Me, Margarita. So that's also a good book, and it's all just plays on titles of books. So what I was going to make from this is One Flew Over the Cosmo Nest. And once again, I'll send you this recipe, but if you're familiar with the Jack Nicholson film, that's Nurse Ratched. So we're gonna make a Cosmo. And yeah, check this book out, it's a lot of fun. And I think the Boston Public Library, I think they might have shut down during COVID, but they had actually opened a tea room and a bar, and they were serving drinks from that book. So if you're in Boston, check it out, see if they're open again. So here we go. One Flew Over the Cosmo's Nest. So we're gonna need vodka, cranberry juice, triple sec, and lime juice. So here we go. This out. Okay. So over here. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna fill my shaker with ice. So I'm gonna do this as an up drink, but if you want, you could always do it as a on the rocks. Okay, so I'm gonna add 1.5 ounces of vodka. And I picked up this shot glass from the Christmas tree shop, so it has all the measurements on it, which is kind of nice. So let's see. Do it the proper way. I'm gonna wait till after to partake in this because I'm a little bit of a lightweight. And then I'm gonna add 1/2 ounce triple sec. 1/2 ounce lime juice. I'm going to cheat on this, but you can use fresh lime juice. Should be enough. Yeah. There we go. Slow coming up. There we go. And then of course the cranberry juice. We're gonna add 1 ounce cranberry juice. And if you like your drink sweet, you could always use the syrup, but I'm gonna go for the juice. Try not to spill this everywhere. Okay. Trying to spill everything everywhere. There. Put my shaker on there. And I actually remembered a pre-fill glass, so I'll get that. Give me a proper martini glass for using a wine glass.
Gonna have to get my shaker back from Kimberly.
What's that?
She's making drinkers.
There we are. Ooh, that's a nice color. And what I might add, I don't have it ready to go, but like maybe a twist of lemon or lime would be nice in that. But nice ruby color. Okay, so that's our Cosmo. Let's set it over there. Guess I could set it in the freezer. So the other one I was gonna make, actually, let me just rinse this real quick. So the other one I was gonna make, it was just too much to make, but it's basically a shared cider. And it's called Fahrenheit 151, which is a play on Fahrenheit. What was it? I always forget now.
451.
451, thank you. I got my numbers mixed up. So Fahrenheit 151 would
What?
be, and I'll send you this recipe.
Video.
You can make it in a crock pot or a pot.
She
And
did.
this calls for a crock pot. So it's apple cider, 6 cups of apple cider, cranberry juice, a cup of cranberry juice, a cup of orange juice, a cup of pineapple juice, 6 cloves, 4 cinnamon sticks, and 8 ounces of rum. And so they recommend Bacardi 151, which gives the drink its name. So I'm not going to make that because I don't have enough friends right now to drink it with me, and I don't want it to go to waste. But you would put everything in the crock pot except the rum and let it warm up for about an hour. And then once you're going to drink it, add the rum at that point, because I think the idea is the alcohol will cook off. And so that would be a good shared drink around Christmas if you wanted. And I'll include that recipe, but it was just a bit much to make for me. Okay, so then the other one I am going to make, I'm just going to check my cranberry sauce real quick. Oh, still simmering. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna give that another minute. Okay. So the other drink I was gonna make is a hot toddy. I do as like the weather cools off and it gets darker earlier. I like a good hot toddy at night. So this is gonna be a cranberry hot toddy. I'm gonna let the water boil, and we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna use the syrup for. Get that out. And let's go this. Bourbon. Do we have bourbon? Oh, we do. Just enough. And a lemon wedge. I know I have that. There. So in this case, we're gonna mix. I thought I took the mug out. We'll use my flamingo mug. You calm and love flamingos. Okay. So in the hot toddy, we're going to add 1/2 ounce cranberry syrup. So with my shot glass. Spoon this out because I think it'll be neater. Yeah. Thanks. So you're going to put that in the mug. And 1 ounce whiskey. And it says you can use bourbon or whiskey or anything brown. So I guess you're regular, you could probably use scotch or something if you wanted, but I'm gonna use bourbon or rum. Rum would probably work. So there's that. Okay, so I have that in there. My water's just about boiling. Let's stir that. Enough. So I'm gonna pour this mug. I've used it before. It's about fruit glass. It's about. I'm gonna fill about an inch to the top. That should be about 8 ounces. There you go. Because it depends on how strong you want it. And then you're gonna add a lemon. And you could even, if you wanted, add like some cinnamon or something. That'd probably be nice, or some nutmeg. So there's your hot toddy. You can tilt it. Can you see it? There you go. Any questions or comments so far? No? Okay, chime
Looks
in.
good.
What's that?
Look good.
Oh, thank you. Okay. What did I do with my spoon? There it is. Okay. So this is looking good. And if you want a real thick sauce, you can just let it boil longer. Just more and more water will boil off. That's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer. But it smells good. So it's turning. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, I lost my spoon. But it's if you can see it, it's like a deep ruby color. It just gets deeper and deeper. No. What was that one? Another 6 minutes on the chicken. Put that away. And how are we doing on time? We're at 4:40. I think we have time. The last thing I was gonna make is just gonna clean out the workspace a little bit here. The last thing I was gonna make, it was actually 2 people, B. Murphy, who works in circulation part-time, and Jillian Lewis, both recommended the cranberry pie. So it's from, I think you can find it in a couple cookbooks, but I got it out of this one by Sarah Lee Chase. And it's Toby Greenberg's cranberry pie. So I don't know Toby Greenberg, but I know a lot of people on Nantucket do. So it's going to be her cranberry pie. And I can show you, I made one earlier because I hadn't made it before. So this is, doesn't that look lovely? So it's super easy. And what I like about it is you don't, I like making apple pies, but the part that's a pain is rolling out the crust. In this case, you don't need to roll out a crust. You just pour a batter over the top. So I was gonna make that. So I'm gonna let that simmer. That seems to be doing good. So we'll start on this and see how far we get. I'm going to rinse my cranberries. So for this recipe, you do need, it calls for a 10-inch pie plate. As you saw, this was like a real 10-inch deep pie plate. So if you're going to use, like I have this, you can't really see it, but I have this metal one here. I was going to, aluminum one I was going to use, but there's no way this would fit in it. So you do need like a good deep pie dish. And seeing as that's my only one, I'm actually gonna make this one in here, it's square, but I think it'll work. But I would use the deep dip. And okay, so for this, let me get my recipe out so I don't lose my place. Okay, so this, I have the 12-ounce bag of cranberries, and you're gonna put that, I rinsed them. I'm gonna put that, oh yeah, that's gonna work perfect. So you put those right in there, in the pie plate. Oh shoot, hold on. You have to butter it, that's important. So. I have to do this ahead of time. You could probably use whatever you want, but it calls for butter. I like butter. But you could probably use coconut oil or anything really. Now, okay. Could have been disastrous, but I saved myself. And I just heard my chicken beep, so I'm gonna do that first. And I think I can probably shut these cranberries. Oh yeah, that's right. So the cranberry sauce, I'm just waiting for it to get really, really deep and dark. And it kind of will run off the back of a spoon. So it's not like quite a syrup, but like you can kind of see it like coating the spoon. So that's what you're going for. So I shut the heat off there. That can just sit and relax for the rest of the night. And let's see how my chicken did. Where'd my towel go? All right. Okay. I know, Della. You're embarrassing me. Okay, so here it is. Once again, the cookbook doesn't have pictures, so I'm just assuming this is what it's supposed to look like. But there it is. And it's hot, so I'm going to put it down. So that's that. Okay, on to the next thing. Let's sit there and be happy. Okay, here we are. Cranberries watch. The pan is buttered. And I'm gonna turn my oven down to 325. So, and the reason I made one ahead of time is this does take about let's let the heat up. It does take about an hour to cook, so I just wanted to make one ahead of time because I knew we wouldn't have that much time for the pie. Okay, so I have this here. Those are the cranberries. And then in a separate bowl, I'll use this one. You're gonna add a half cup of brown sugar. Let me set this aside. I did, perfect. Okay. Okay, so you can just do this right in the pie plate. I feel like it gets messy and it doesn't blend as well. So I'm gonna do this in a separate bowl. So I'm adding a half cup of brown sugar. This is light packed brown sugar. And 1 tablespoon of orange zest. This is actually grapefruit because I ran out of oranges. That's right. So I can go there. And I'm gonna add, lost my spot, cinnamon and walnuts. So I'm gonna add a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And I like a lot of spices, so you could probably even add, nutmeg if you wanted. Whatever you feel like. So that's a teaspoon of cinnamon. And walnuts. So it's 3/4 chopped walnuts. That's about right. And in the last one, actually, I only had these for walnuts, so I used pecans. So you can probably use any nut you want. And let's see, am I missing anything else? Okay, great. So this I'm going to stir on its own. Get it mixed up. Mixed in. Once again, you can do this in the dish. I just feel like it's less messy. I'm kind of a klutz, so it's easier for me to do it this way. All right. So I'm going to pour that over the cranberries. Oh, and I'm realizing you can't really see this. Let me tilt this down a little bit. Might chop my head off, but that's okay. There we go. Okay. So put that in there. And I just like that you don't have to roll anything out. That's always, for me, the hard part. And sometimes you have to pre-bake the crust or whatever. So this is just putting everything in here and you pour the batter over the top. That looks pretty good. I mean, heck, you could probably just add the cranberries to the bowl and just pour it all in, but here we are. Okay. So then you just want to spread that so it's flat. It covers the bottom. Okay. Running out of counter space. Here we go. And now we're going to make the batter. I'm going to make it actually. I bought this a million years ago from Pampered Chef, and it goes in the oven. You can freeze it. You can put boiling water in it. It's amazing, and it has a little spout. So I unfortunately lost the cover that goes with it. But okay, so here's the batter. You're going to do 2 large eggs. I have an apron. Okay. And then I was mix that up. And then, oh, I need melted butter. So 1 stick of butter, it's a 1/2 cup. And I'm planning to return all the books I took out to the library tomorrow, which I've had out longer than I should have. So if you want to check any of these books out, they'll be there tomorrow, ready for you to pick up. Actually, while I do that, bowl. Here. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I want to show you this cranberry sauce. It's too hot for the bowl. So I can already smell the jalapeno coming off of it, which I love, but that's too spicy for you. Oh, that's perfect. There we go. So you can see how that's like a super ruby color, and it's really liquidy now, but once it cools, it's really going to harden. And if you want something that's like we're super jello-y, like super thick, I would simmer it for like another 10 minutes, and then you'll get that. This over here, so don't spill it. Okay. Got my eggs. I'm gonna add sugar. Let's see, 1 cup sugar. I guess no, I did the flour. So I'm gonna do 1 cup sugar. And then I'm going to do 1 teaspoon, I think, of vanilla extract. Yeah. And then sour cream. So this is let's see, measured out. It's 1 quarter sour cream. And sometimes I also use, like, if you don't have sour cream in the fridge, if you have yogurt, like plain yogurt, actually vanilla yogurt would be fine too. But yogurt is a good replacement for sour cream if you're in a pinch. Especially like Greek yogurt, it's nice and thick. So stir that in. And the butter. Just was worried this was too hot. I didn't want to cook the eggs. There we go. That'll be all right. Okay. So this becomes a nice liquid, and you just want to do that until it's nice and blended. So now it's almost like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's almost like a custard. Good. And then you're going to add, and then you're going to add 1 cup of unbleached all-purpose flour, and you just want to add it like a little bit at a time. And you could probably do this in a stand mixer or with a hand mixer if you want, but it's not too laborious. So sometimes a whisk is just a little bit easier. So this turns into, I didn't sift the flour, but looks like it's blending in okay. I'm a little bit of a lazy cook. Okay, and then, okay, so this is, when I was first doing this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way too thick. There's no way this is gonna pour. But once you stir it, it is, see how it's almost like cake batter? But just give that a good stir. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like working with clear bowls too, because you can see if anything's stuck on the bottom if I missed anything. And then this guy. And we're just going to take this and pour it right over the cranberries. So So it's just so interesting. It's so like foamy. It's very satisfying to work with. It's very easy to spread. When I saw the recipe, I thought it would be more almost like a quiche, like an egg batter, but it's really much thicker than that. Scrape it off, it's less to wash. And it'd be cool to try like a variation of this, you know, maybe do it with like blueberries or something. You just have to be conscious of water content. I feel like cranberries are really easy to work with because they don't have a ton of, it's not like an apple. Or yeah, they don't seem to have the same water content. Okay. Push that right at the edges. And when I buttered this, I did do kind of right up to the rim so that it doesn't stick anywhere. You know? That's pretty good. Okay. Do that. All right. So there it is. And this is going to go. So this normally would be a deep dish pie plate, but I'm using this. I think it'll work just fine. It's going in the oven at 325. Last time I did this, I did 55 minutes. So that seemed to work fine. And you're just looking for it to be browned on the top and the berries are bubbling a little bit. So I'll show you the finished product again. And you can serve it right away. So like this actually flattened a little bit. It was really puffy when I took it out. So it just kind of sank a little bit. So here it is. Doesn't that look good?
Can you serve us a little bit of that so we can see what it looks like inside?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, again. I thought you meant bring it over to your house. It's a little late and it's raining.
Well, yes, I'd like that too.
Now here's the real test, right? So let's see. We'll find out together. Let's see. So we'll cut straight across. So it looks like it's going to come out clean. Fingers and toes crossed. Wait. This works. Let's see. There. Oh yeah, it came out pretty clean. The first piece is always the hardest, right? But it's almost like it's like a cornbread texture on top. But there it is. And then you could serve it with like probably whipped cream, or even just like a little cream drizzled on top, or ice cream, or just have it as is.
So it's like a cake on
Delicious.
top.
It is almost like a cake on top.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So yeah, and you can see here, it does come out pretty clean, but it looks like a pie underneath, like you can see all the red underneath. And something I saw that I would love to try, which book was it? It was the Cranberry Connection, and here they have a recipe called pumpkin pie surprise. And what you do is you take cranberry sauce. So when you make a regular apple pie, but on the bottom you put cranberry sauce, and then you pour the pumpkin pie filling on it. So when you cut into it, there's a layer of cranberry sauce on the bottom. And I was like, oh, that sounds delicious.
That sounds great.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions or comments?
You're going to send the recipes to the emails?
Yes. Yeah. Everything I made tonight, plus the stuff I talked about, I'll send it out to an email, and we'll upload this and include the link in case you want to watch something again.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And I don't know, I was gonna plug our next Yummy Monday, but I don't have any lined up at the moment. So, but stay tuned. We're gonna try, we probably won't do it every Monday. We have other stuff we're working around, but we're gonna try to do it most Mondays. And if there's something you wanna hear about or you wanna learn about, that's how we got a lot of ideas last year. And if there's some, if you yourself wanna present, if there's something you make, what people seem to like is demonstrations and stuff they haven't made before. So we had someone that did chicken curry. I don't know if you know Deepak that works at Walters, but he did chicken curry one time. I'm trying to think what else we had someone do challah bread, like braiding challah bread. That was really popular. So people like stuff they haven't made at home before. All right.
Excellent.
Any final words, Amy? No? She's muted. All right, well, I will wrap us up then. Thanks so much for joining us and stay tuned. We'll have more Yummy Mondays coming your way.
Thank you.
I can have my drink now. Cheers, everyone.
Yeah, Fred was with us here at the station for a while. Do you know him?
Sorry about that. My Zoom completely froze.
Oh,
And if I crashed it, I would have ended the meeting. So I sent you a text, but I was like, I couldn't even send you a chat to let you know.
oh. So you were just there, but you were frozen?
Yeah, I think we're still recording. Hang on.